Om. 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 So we are going to begin where we left last time. It was stanza number 69, and I just requested you all to brood over and see what it is trying to tell us. You know, we are about to end this chapter in about a couple of stanzas. 18 stanzas at the end of this chapter. I mentioned earlier that they constitute the core part of this chapter. One of the stanza we paid more attention. That was Raga Dvesha Viyuktaihi. One of the reasons is, as I mentioned, that total of 700 stanzas, 18 chapters. But as we go along, Sri Krishna has installed the milestones. On the milestones, you can rest and ponder, and probably the whole thing would come there. Ragadvesha Viyuktaihi is such a stanza for this chapter of 18 slokas, the group of 18 slokas. We will often recapture as we will go along. That stanza is equivalent to 18 slokas, but the 18 slokas are equivalent to 18 chapters and therefore equal to 700 stanzas. You might want to try one thing. Implement this stanza in your life. Totally strictly. Raga Dvesha Viyuktaihi. No attraction, no repulsion. With all the sense activities, with the sense objects that you meet in your life, you will be frustrated in the beginning if you are not too much into this, that, my God, implementing this stanza is extremely difficult, but then you will have to implement a lot of zillion things. Yes, that is true. Instead of becoming frustrated, laugh loudly that, hey, Sri Krishna, Dhanyavad, Dhanyavad. You are not leaving us alone. You are not giving us an inch. You have very tight ropes. That's okay. Just bow down in his feet. And not with a forceful mind, but with a humble mind. Just tell him, no, my friend, I still want to implement that. So my best luck to all of you with that. And I will go to stanza number 69, which is Ya Nisha, the night. Nisha means night. Nisha, night, is a symbolic word. It does not mean literally, he's talking about night. He's talking about the state in which every human being perceive the world. And the meaning of world means any experience, any thought, anything that happened with that person. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam. All the human beings, whatever is their perceptive ability, mostly mundane, all day they are involved either going to work. If staying at home, then it's mundane household things. So the nisha means there is darkness. Whenever there is ratri, there is darkness. They don't see the vision. It further says, Tasyam jagarti sanyami. And sanyami means the person who has, before we have encounter, like restraining the senses, etc. That sanyami person, he has also vision. But his vision is like a daylight. He clearly sees the Brahman, the Advait, everywhere. So there is a difference, the mundane life and the sannyasi life. So wherever sanyami purush, the sanyami person, the restraining person is awakened. I'm not just saying awake, I'm just saying awaken. Mostly, and I'm using the phrase mostly, all human beings are in the darkness, so they don't have the clear vision. Further it goes, Yasyam jagrati bhutani. But where the other human beings are awake, means creative, means for them there is light, like their light is in the mundane life, not similar to what sannyasi's life is there. In that situation, what happened to the Muni? Sa nisha pashyataha munehe. That which is night for everybody, that where the people have darkness, the Muni, the sannyasi, the sanyami, sees the vision. So there is a dual aspect here. There is a warning here that whatever we perceive and assume that this is right thing may not be necessarily the right thing. It may be wrong. So the warning here is, hey, stop a moment and see whether this is right or this is wrong. There is a marvelous stanza in the Kathopanishad which is my favorite. I would like to bring that here. Yam, after defeated by a kid. Defeated means when he offered zillion of things. And when he replied, Swabhavo martasya yadantaka etad. Oh, Yamraja, tomorrow morning is not certain in this world. What are you talking about? What am I going to do with all that zillion things you are offering? No, I don't want that. Just tell me what is after death. And when Yamraja is defeated, he starts with this stanza, which is highly related to this 69 stanza, and that is the reason I thought I would rather connect. And not only connecting, but also want to put a seed in your mind that sometime you will read Kathopanishad. So the Yamraja answers then, after defeat, Anyat Sreya cha anyat uta eva preya. There are two phrases here coming, Sreya and Preya. Preya will make happy and attractive to most all the mundane people. Sreya will only attract to Sanyami because he has the habit to ponder over and evaluate whether this is going to be good for me or not good for me. So here is also the same hint. The hint is where all the mundane thinking going on, don't believe that necessarily that is the right way of living the life. There is another aspect also. So the complete translation is here. That which is night to all beings, in that the disciplined man wakes, that in which all beings wake is night to the Atman cognizing Muni. Difference here. So we will keep that in mind. It is coming to an end, so all the heavy duty stuff is already taken care, and we are just kind of wrapping up to make it complete. Stanza number 70. Apuryamanam. There is a Sandhi here, so I'm kind of splitting that. Apuryamanam achala prathishtham. Totally filled from all the sides. And he's going to bring the word here, samudram apaha. Apaha means water. The way the water in the ocean is filled each to each, like that. And then he is going to compare that with, in another, the second line, Samudramapaha pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamaha yam pravishanti sarve saha shantim apnoti nakamakami. The comparison is with the ocean water. And in the ocean, the rivers would flow turbulently at the mouth when they enter. But once they enter, they cool down. They don't even know where they are. So similarly, all the desires in the niyantrit mind, the restrained mind, all the desires like river will enter into his atma, into his self, without disturbing the self. Totally cool down. And in that case then, shantim apnoti, he attains shanti, he attains tranquility, he attains peace. But what happened to the other person? Not to the kama-kami, desirer of desires is a marvelous word here, kama-kami. Kami means desirer, one who desires, and kama means desire. So not to the desirer of the desires. For him, there is always disturbance in the mind. So there is this warning here. So the whole translation, not to the desirer of desires. The way it looks better in translation is taking the last phrase first. There is also, while translating the Sanskrit stanza you want to do, because it has written to preserve the chanda. We want to translate, we have a different purpose. So let's see how it goes. I'm picking the last phrase first. Not the desirer of desires, but that man attains peace. That is also second to the last phrase. In whom all desires merge, even as rivers flow into the ocean, which is full and unmoving. So that is a proper sort of translation. So the best way to do is you look for a subject, you look for adjectives, you look for verb, you look for adverbs, and then put together like a pieces of puzzle. And not only by putting the pieces of puzzle, even though you don't know, you are not Sanskrit Pandit, but you will easily understand. And the reason behind this is most of our languages like Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Bengali, Tamil, all those languages have roots in Sanskrit language. Another beauty is like Mahavir and Buddha, they spoke in Prakrit and Pali. They are also very easily understandable. They are similar to Sanskrit language and easily understood. For example, the Prakrit goes like this, appa kappa vipita, suhanaya duhanaya, appa mittam amittam cha, supattiya dupattiya. That is the heart of Jina Sutra. What says is, whatever sukh and dukh come to you is all generated by you. You are yourself, is the friend and foe of yourself. So that Prakriti is also connected to Sanskrit language. Pali is similar thing, all the Dhammapad of Buddha, similar to our Bhagavad Gita. is written in Pali, and it also is very similar to Sanskrit language. So the beauty in India is there are 16 major languages. However, all of them are very well connected. Coming back to 71st stanza, is summing up now everything, which was the first stanza in the answer of the group of 18 stanzas when there was a question, Sthita pragnasya ka bhasha. And the answer was, Prajahati kaman sarvan. By renouncing, by discarding all the desires, that was the beginning of explaining who is Sthita Prajna. The last stanza here also is summarizing that. Vihaya kaman, by renouncing the desires. Yaha means who. But Sri Krishna is not giving an each here. So he has added the adjective, sarvan. He says, you are vihaya kaman, you are renouncing all the desires. However, how many desires you are going to renounce? He says, sarvan. Don't hold any desire in your pocket. That is what he's saying. Vihaya kaman yah sarvan puman charati nispruhaha. After renouncing all the desires, how would you behave? Nispruhaha, without attachment. Nirmamo, without possessing anything. You are beggar. You have nothing here. And that is actually true. Nirahankara, no ahankar. Ahankar for what? That is another puzzle here. And every single thing, the water, the air, and you know in this COVID thing, the air, you cannot even breathe. You have to put the mask, you know. Air, water, land, house, family, friends. What is not given to you? Why would one have the feeling of me? You know, it's a difficult question. It should be very natural to be nispruha, nirmamaha, nirankaraha. It should be just natural. Why natural? Because that is the way you have been generated. You have been given the birth with nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Tomorrow morning, if we wake up, thank God. Then what does he say? Saha shantim adhigacchati. Everywhere in the few of the stanzas in this last 18 stanzas, he's talking about a lot of shantim gacchati. Shantim, shantim, shantim. Look for shanti, therefore. And look for the means which can bring you peace. Peace is $1 million thing, not million, probably no value. You cannot attach any value. And the meaning of shanti, there is no turbulence in the mind. Turbulence has no question. How do we want to achieve? Somebody may say, oh, I don't know anything about, and there is no doctor who can also show me how to put the Shanti in my head. That is where these kind of scriptures are the most valuable teachers, because that is where the truth is hidden. And that is where the persons who have gone through or who have experienced, who have benefited out of this thing, can become a witness. That man attains peace who lives devoid of longing, desire, freed from all desires and without the feeling of I and mine. That is what he says. And now there is the last one. And before I read the last one, because it's going to make an end of the story, it's going to mostly complete the entire Gita. And I just want to pause a little bit. I want to bring another notion to be more clear about this thing. Narsi Mehta was a great receiver of the spiritual knowledge. He, in one of his bhajan, there is a line he said, which is worth thinking. Because if I jump to this 72nd stanza, you will also jump, and then there is a point here. As a kid, I was impressed by Narsi Mehta of this line. Magu nahu mukti, magu janam janam avatar. He did not want to be dissolved in that infinite Advaita. He wanted to be born again and again. Why did he want to born? Why did he want to be born again and again? He had the reason. Even though he went through zillion torturous difficulties of life, he was very poor, no money. His wife died, and he sang Balu Thayu Bangi Janjar, Sukha Baji Sun Sri Gopal. His two children died. And he had the gift of Kedar Rag, so he started singing and he called Sri Krishna, hey, 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 come here now. And he came as Chaturbhuj, Vishnu. Narsi, what do you want this time? He said, no, 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 I cannot bear all these things. Please bring back my wife, my children. Sri Krishna said, I could have done everything for you, Narsi, except this thing. It is a wheel of life put from the very beginning, which turns on its own. I also go through that. Even listening to this kind of serious answer, Narsi said, no, no, Magu Janama Janam Avatar. Why he said that? Because he knew Sri Krishna will be always with him. And his purpose of life was to see in a dualistic fashion Sri Krishna. Same purpose as the Vedantic people who are believer in the non-dual. Narsi was dualistic. Surdas was dualistic. Meera was dualistic. In India, both of these philosophies are going on with equal potency. The question then somebody may ask, which one is better? Dual is better? Non-dual is better? And there is a giant answer for this, hard to swallow. Buddha said there is no dual and there is no non-dual. Really? When you see the symbol of Omkar, there is on top is Ardhamatra, the moon, half moon. That is where Bhagwan Vishnu is relaxing. Up to that point, everything is dual. You cross that half moon and go to that dot. That is non-dual, Akshar Purushottam. And one of the beauty about Buddha, he crossed both boundaries. How do we know that? When Maharishi Arvind wrote his Savitri, the epic, big book, 1500 pages, the first page has the answer. He uses the phrase, fathomless zero occupied. Savitri is a book which is the narrative of what happens when somebody is in samadhi. Unbelievable book. It used to be taught in Harvard many years. So what is the meaning of fathomless zero? There are two contradictory mathematical terms here. One says zero means there is nothing there. And one says fathomless means there is something which is infinite. But Buddha chose that zero. Mercy Arvind says they're both the same thing. All of this jungle of interpretations, you probably want to run away and say, oh, no, I don't, God, this is too much for me, No, don't run away. Relax. That's okay if you stumble. We are human beings, limited people. But if you are into this with a single pointed mind, all of this will be translated in your heart, not in mind. Mind have no place. Mind has limited capacity. You are impressed by mind, not you, all of, including myself. We are all impressed by mind because by mind we have achieved all these things. But for the complexity of the spirituality, please put the mind away. In the heart will evolve another faculty. You will see that. You will definitely see that. So let's come to 72nd stanza here. He's summing up here. And as you know, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is Advaitamruta Varshinim. Advaitnu Amrut. She's showering the Amrut of Advaita. It's not talking about dualistic philosophy. So that is why this 72nd stanza, summing up all the 18 stanzas, Esha Brahmi Sthitihi Partha, Na enam prapya vimuhyati, Sthitva asyam antakale api, Brahma nirvanam ruchyati. This kind of Brahmi sthiti here, Parth, even at the time of death, what kind of Brahmi sthiti? Not an ordinary state. This kind of Brahmi sthiti, even at the time of your death, sthitva asyam antakale. Antakale. Imagine this thing. This is an amazing thing. Like when Swami Vivekananda was departing. In the morning, he took a long walk. Afternoon, on the second floor, he closed the door and lie down. He was in that Brahmi sthiti. And in that state, whatever this stanza is saying, Even in that moment, he is not vimuhyati, vimuhyati, not vimuhyati. There is absolutely no confusion, no doubt. And such soul can also see, observe the phenomenon, how the individual self depart. So this last stanza is giving you back. I would not use the phrase truckload of things, which is a common phrase to describe something too much. Even at the last moment, you will remember. So, not that it is only written in the book. I gave an example. Same example is probably many munis, many sannyasis, many who have practiced this kind of thing. Many would not have come out and become published that, oh, I had this siddhi and I died this way. There are many people. Silently, they have done so much sadhana that they would have this gift, which is in the last stanza of this second adhyaya. I think it is a beautiful ending here. This is the fourth gear over. From the beginning of the third chapter, which is Karma Yoga, we will very thoroughly, each part very thoroughly understand and split hair. But we will be in the fifth gear. That will be the feeling like you are flying in an aeroplane at the height of 34,000 feet. Nothing shaking, sailing easily, you drink coffee, have a couple of snacks, whatever. We will have the same feeling from chapter 3 onwards. So you will be relaxing there because everything will be in a slow motion. But remember, it is only a stretch of the 18 stanzas we covered in this second chapter. At the same time, I have a question here. Arjun ji did not run in the middle. And you will see beginning chapter 3, he is going to ask so much potential questions. He will throw the mind away. The question he could have asked in the middle of all this thing going on, because now his depression is already gone. And in the entire Gita, he doesn't ask this question, but it occurred in my mundane mind. So I'm asking myself, hey, Keshav, oh, Anaga, oh, spotless Arjun, Kanteya, Gudakesha Parantapa. Come on, say, what do you want to ask me? And Arjunji would say hurriedly, Keshav, you are going too far. There is the army waiting. We have to fight. No such question. Can you believe the person who has elaborately argued that I'm not going to fight? And here, when he's convinced that now you can fight, he's not asking, hey, there is the army waiting. We have to fight. We are both Kshatriyas. Instead, in the third chapter, he begins with two stanzas. You will, they say in the English language, that will knock your socks off. So let's wait until the following week, and we will catch up there. But right now, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. One of the reasons is because I am asking questions, so probably you may be running out of it. That's okay. Silence is not a bad thing. Silence is very good.
Amrit Bhai,
Yes,
this is Chandrakant speaking from Maya's phone.
right.
I have a question not about your current lecture, but going back a couple of lectures.
Yeah,
You had indicated that Bhagavad Gita was recited at time 0.
right.
You gave two examples: a pendulum swinging without the clock showing the correct time,
Mm-hmm.
and the rotation of the earth.
Right.
Are you ready to explain that right now, or shall we wait?
No, what I'm doing is, yeah,
Sorry?
there is a moment coming in the Gita,
Okay.
and I would bring this issue that particular time to make it very appropriate. However, the reason I put it ahead of time is to really run out of another question that really where is the evidence, and the evidence was all the conches were blown, and according to our calculation we came out 175 hours, but that is not the case. There was no time, so we know in a practical sense we already have the answer, but how that can happen, I'm waiting for the right moment. I do not want to explain, but we will understand together the right moment. Meanwhile, I have given another example of zero gravity to give more example. And there is a third example of a zero space. He was showing the entire Brahmand when he was maybe hardly 6 months old, child eating, the clay from the backyard. And Jashoda says, show me your. He showed the entire Brahmand in one each mouth. That is another example I'm bringing. And I'm putting the mind to thinking that, hey, the time, gravitation, the space on which all the physics people are working and getting Nobel Prize. Why this guy is giving examples of those entities of physics? I want to take out the mysticism because the way from childhood we are preached that, oh, Vyas can stop the river, Krishna can hold the mountain, Krishna can also, at the Sandipani ashram, when his guru detected that upon ordering a pot for milk from the student sitting with the guru, the pot was inside the hut. And Sri Krishna stretched his hand and pulled out the pot and gave it to the Guru's wife. Since that day, he knew he is not a human being. So when his son died, at the time of Guru Dakshina time, Sri Krishna said, Guruji, what can I do? What can I give you? And he said, at the right moment, bring back my son. There are zillion of episodes in Bhagavad, for example, and that is the function, that is what Sukdev ji was doing. To bring all the glories which Vyas ji wrote in Bhagavad. And these glories, one of the beauty, the Hindus say, that is why he is 100% avatar, Shorani, while Ram was not Shorani, or the other avatars, like Ram Krishna Paramhans was also Ram and Krishna both. But he was not even avatar, he was called Vibhuti in a different degree. They came. But in all these things about Krishna, the way from the childhood our elders put the element of mysticism. And my goal is to connect that physics aspect with this mysticism. And drop by drop, I'm adding the examples, but I'm not giving the answers. So, Chandrakant Bhai, you will have to be patient, but the answer will be coming.
Okay.
You have to be patient there.
Okay.
Not a problem.
That's a good teacher's technique.
I am not gonna run out of town, or anywhere, so you can catch me anywhere. Don't. We will all together enjoy these kind of things. And you are telling me teacher, but as I again and again reminding you, you all. I'm not a teacher either. I'm just sitting among you, and I'm just one of you, nothing more than that, you know. So please, you know, uh, don't drag me to any illusion here, you know. I just want to live the way I'm living right now. Okay, any more question now? No question look like. So I think we will end this session and I will do the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurmamrutam Gamaya Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Okay, so thank you all very much. And I will spend maybe 5 minutes with my Sanskrit friends. So I will stop recording this thing